this absolute triffid over here is our... I've never ever managed to get aubergines to this size. Ah, it's raining again. Which means we can't really get much gardening done outside, but this is a perfect opportunity to do a polytunnel and greenhouse tour for you. So yes, let's do one of those. So yes, sadly, the British summer has returned to its default setting and we are having rain pretty much every single day. We did have really nice weather in May and June. In fact, we had one of the hottest Junes on record and we didn't have rain for around 2 months straight. But now it's returned to normal again. But saying that, things are still doing pretty well and the greenhouses and the polytunnels are still full of growth and things have really grown a lot since I did a last tour. It feels like it's been a while since I've shown you inside the greenhouses and polytunnels, so now is the perfect opportunity, I think, to do a bit of a tour. Yeah, inside the greenhouses and polytunnels, let's have a look at how things are doing. Quite exciting, actually. There's a lot going on and I can't wait to show you all. So I do hope you enjoy the video. So let's start in the first greenhouse, the big greenhouse, where we've got all our onions now curing on this pallet bench here. We harvested these a couple of days ago, our seed grown onions. Now obviously it'd be silly leaving them outside to try and dry because it is pouring it down. So in here it's nice and dry for them. And I'm pretty happy with the result of these. Some pretty decent sized onions. My plan was to grow enough onions to last till the next year, and I think we've done that actually. I think we should have enough onions, providing that they can store well. You know, if they don't rot. If we did have a problem with some mildew, then they should be all right. So onions have been a success, and they are taking up quite a bit of space in this greenhouse. So on this one side here, we have all our tomatoes, mostly our F1 hybrids. We do have this Black Beauty here, which is a heritage variety. But we've got Shirley over here, which the fruits did have blossom and rot earlier on, but the plants have now recovered and are now sending out some really nice fruits. This bunch is so heavy that the branches actually started to break there, and yeah, some really nice just normal salad tomatoes here growing on these plants. Got our Black Beauty here, massive black tomato here, some more down there. We've got our Sun Golds and Sweet Aperitif tomatoes, as well as our black opals now, which, you know, we have been picking some of these Sun Golds now already for about a week. It's just a case of waiting for the rest of them. Now, there are a few problems with our tomatoes this year, and I put that down to the cool, wet weather which we're having as of late, but I'll show you that in a moment. But these tomatoes are growing pretty well as it stands anyway. Okay, over in this very messy corner over here, we have this melon plant, which I'm just going to let sprawl everywhere. And down on the floor, behind these tomatoes, a little bit shaded, but we have some things which we sowed the other week, some broccolis, Swedes, Mizuna, mustard, and some mixed lettuce there, purple sprouting broccoli here. Okay, so going into the small 6x6 greenhouse opposite the big one, we have, yep, more tomatoes once again. No surprise there, growing a lot of tomatoes. Yeah, quite a lot of varieties in here, and these ones aren't really affected by any problems at the moment. The problem is inside the big polytunnel here, which I'll show you in a moment, and also inside the other one. Look at that, we have some Rebel Starfighter Prime tomatoes. Beautiful looking things. This one plant is covered in them. There's quite a few of these, actually. Some more up here as well. So altogether in here we have 9 different varieties of tomatoes. Yeah, according to my labelling, this is pink Berkeley tie-dye, and I can tell you with 100% confidence that that is not pink Berkeley tie-dye. That is probably Brad's Atomic Grape. Looking at those, yeah. Yeah. Don't ask me, guys. Even I don't know what's inside my own greenhouse because I've got them all mixed up. Because I'm growing like 40 varieties of tomato. Okay, so we're now in the big 6 by 3 meter polytunnel, and this is where a few of our problems have started with the tomatoes. You may have a hunch and you may know what I mean, but I'll show you in a moment. After these beautiful cucumbers here, these mini munch cucumbers, we've been picking now for a few weeks. Actually, I need to pick these, quite a few on here. Yeah, these are just taking over, going crazy here. We've actually reached the top of the string, so I need to figure out where I train them now. Yeah, these were really prolific last year, so we decided that we were going to grow them again. I really recommend this variety. They're absolutely delicious and great for lunch boxes as well. Really, really lovely. So, right, we'll move on to all these tomatoes. Now, all these tomatoes are heritage varieties, and we're having various different problems with them this year. And the first one, which is kind of inevitable actually, given the cool, wet weather which we've been having lately, and that, my friends, is the dreaded tomato blight. Now, this is actually really started to spread very fast. In fact, the other day when I came down, it wasn't as bad as this, but now, yeah, there's just Barry's crazy cherry, maybe crazy and very prolific, but can't fight off the tomato blight, and it's a real shame because there are a lot of tomatoes on here, but the blight is just, yeah, it usually starts at one end of the greenhouse or polytunnel, and then it works its way down. So I am going to have to start cutting this back very soon, actually, probably after I've done this video, actually, because it will start to spread this way in time. And it doesn't end there. The other problems we've been having some signs of aminopyralid damage from horse manure, which is a new one. I've not had that before. We've had some blossom end rot in the container tomatoes. We've also had some signs of magnesium deficiency, which is evident in some of these yellowing leaves. Magnesium deficiencies, despite the fact that we've fed them and everything else, but maybe just not enough. You know, I've given them bone meal, bloodfish and bone, tomato feed, they've had compost, and still, you know, we have had problems. We've also had problems with heat stress as well. Some signs of heat stress there. And here, some blossom drop on some of them as well. As you can see there, blossom drop due to heat stress. We have still been having fluctuating temperatures, and with how hot and dry it was earlier on in, around June time, that also took its toll on these tomatoes as well, despite the fact that we had the vents still open. And we also had one tomato plant with what I suspect is verticillium wilt, where the roots actually rotted and the plant just flopped. So yeah. But despite this, there is still a lot of really nice tomatoes on there. So, we're not lacking tomatoes. There are a lot of those. In fact, there's some starting to turn, actually. Yeah, there's some really nice ones. I'll try and show you as many of these. I'm not going to go through all the varieties, as there's a heck of a lot of them. Some black strawberry there, some Sartre Alois there, which will be turning ripe very soon. Some Taiga. There's many different ones. There's 40 different varieties, so you know, I'll be here all day going through them all. Brad's Atomic Grape, which we grew last year, which were really nice. Yeah, it's just a shame about the blight, really. It's going to take hold, and I'm just hoping that we get a good crop before it really starts to take over. And then Indigo Blue Beauty tomatoes, one of our favourites. Got some Cherokee purples there, nice bunch of them. We've got another one of our favourites here, large barred boar. That's a really nice one. Really nice big stripy tomatoes. So despite the cooler and wetter weather, you know, things are still growing in here, and there's a lot of tomatoes. Not ripe yet, but I'm sure it's not going to be too long. But yeah, we have had some problems, and blight is one of them. Now, if you'd like to see all the varieties which I'm growing this year, I actually did a video potting them all up a few months ago and going over every single variety. So you can check that out by clicking here if you'd like to give that a watch. Okay, so we're now inside the new 4x3 meter polytunnel, which we built a few months ago. I will leave a card at the end of the video, by the way, if you want to go and check out my build and review of this polytunnel. Thinking of buying one like this, a budget polytunnel. But these aubergines here, I'm really, really happy with. I kept these at home up until the end of May. I sowed them at Christmas, and they were at home for quite a long time. And I've never, ever, ever managed to get aubergines to this size. They are just absolutely huge. They must be 3 feet tall at least, covered in flowers. We have had some grey mould on some of them, despite the fact that the vents are open and the door is open too as well. But, you know, we have got a lot of really nice fruits on here. This variety is called Moneymaker, and yeah, there's probably around half a dozen fruits on each one. Look at that. I've never managed to get this far with aubergines before. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with these actually. And I think this one's going to be ready to pick soon. They are this sort of shape and size, so I think we can probably pick that one. But yeah, really, really good, these aubergines this year. I'm just expecting something to come along and kill them very soon, though. I'm not getting too excited. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we end up with some problems at some point. It's a little bit too good to be true, actually. Now down the middle, we've just got a couple of extra spare plants which we've thrown in, which to be honest aren't really doing anything. Nothing really exciting there. But we have got a load of peppers down here which are now producing some fruits. Finally, these weren't really doing anything up until a few weeks ago. They always do start off really, really slow. It's like a jungle in there. I can't really move around very well. Yeah, there's fruits on there, little ones, but they are fruits, and they are doing pretty nice. Got a couple of varieties, new Ace, and then there's a snacking lunchbox pepper over there. And yeah, there's probably around a dozen peppers on each plant at the moment, and we're feeding them every single week with a seaweed feed as well. This absolute triffid over here is our gherkin plants. 6 gherkin plants over here, but you'd think there was like 20 of them. It is just ridiculous how it's just grown, and I keep tying it in, and yeah, it's just absolute chaos over here. Now, there are a few absolutely gigantic gherkins there. I'm waiting until there's a reasonable amount of small-ish gherkins on there before I pickle a load of them. I want to do them all at once. Now on this side of the polytunnel, we've got some, yep, tomato blight on here, which is not good at all. These are our San Marzano tomatoes with a couple of random rogue tomatoes, which I think got mixed up. They're definitely not San Marzano tomatoes. Yeah, if they're San Marzano tomatoes, then yeah, they're definitely not San Marzanos. But they have blight anyway, nevertheless. So, and yep, there's some more aminopyralid damage up here. Now, I think if it wasn't for the fact that I'm growing a heck of a lot of tomatoes this year, I think there'd be a little bit of a disaster given the problems that we have. But because we're growing so many of them, we're still going to end up with a good crop, I think. Yeah, where are the San Marzanos? I can't even see any. I planted San Marzanos. Ah, there we go. There we go. We have some San Marzanos here. Yeah, and some more over there. Yeah. So yeah, San Marzano tomatoes with a few rogue tomatoes here, and yeah, this is definitely. I'm pretty sure that's definitely aminopyralid damage here, guys. Yeah, let me know what you think. Skeletonized, mutated foliage. It's a clear sign. Either that or heat stress, perhaps. But, you know, things don't always go to plan, and it may just be that this year we're not so fortunate with the blight. Last year we managed to avoid it, but it was much drier over summer. It wasn't this wet. Now it's just been so wet and muggy and horrible. Yeah, I'm not really surprised that we're getting the blight now, to be honest. I was expecting this. Down here, yeah, we have cut off the lower foliage, obviously, to help with ventilation, but that still hasn't stopped the blight from taking hold. We have got our garlic here curing away. Yeah, not much of a garlic harvest, but, you know, it can be used. And yeah, hopefully got much better luck with that next year. So that's the new polytunnel. Tomato problems, pepper's doing really well, aubergines doing amazingly well, and our gherkin cucumbers have just gone absolutely wild and yeah, out of control. Yeah, I need to build a border around here. As you can see, there's no wooden border. And yeah, I'll leave a card at the end of the video if you'd like to see my review on this. It's quite a good polytunnel, but obviously there are a few negatives to note as well, as with everything. So yeah, things are doing okay. There's plenty of things going on, and we do have a lot of tomatoes, as you can see, a heck of a lot of tomatoes, which most of them are growing pretty well. Some of them have blight, some of them have other problems, but there are a lot of fruits which should be ripening pretty soon, actually. I'm anticipating a lot ripening probably in the next week or two when I am off work, so I should have plenty of time to pick them and process them. And there will be a big tomato tasting video coming up probably around about the middle of August when we have most of our tomatoes ripened. And I'll be tasting probably around 15 to 20 new varieties which we're trying this year, providing that the blight doesn't take over first. Now, that video did really, really well last year, our other tomato tasting video. So yeah, I'm going to be doing another one, and we really enjoyed making that video last year. So do stay tuned for that around August time. And our onions are doing really well on here. Our aubergines doing great. Peppers also doing pretty well, despite the really slow start. And the cucumbers, they're also doing pretty well as well, giving us some really nice cucumber harvests. So yeah, I just thought I'd do a little bit of a polytunnel and greenhouse tour today. So, I've not really done one. It's usually just a plot tour that I do, and it's been 4 weeks since I did one of those. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope this made you feel better if you've got problems with tomato blight or various other problems as well. You know, nothing is 100% perfect, as always in gardening. Nothing, things don't always go the way you expect them every single time. So thank you very much for watching. Remember, if you like this video, smash that like button because it really does help out a lot. And it helps YouTube spread this video to other people so I can reach more people and teach and inspire more people. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video just like this. I upload videos every single week. And if you'd like to check out my 4x3 meter out sunny polytunnel review, you can do so by clicking on one of these cards here. I hope to see you in the next one. Happy gardening, and remember, enjoy it no matter the weather.